Hi, an angel. 13. An angel. Any angel? A particular angel? Archangel? Cherub? Seraphim, maybe? Any old angel? Doesn't matter. You asked some questions. Alright, questions, great. Let's get around to answering them. Can you name a show? Can you name or show 3 books that tell something about you? Okay. Let's say Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Because it illustrates in a way that probably no other book has done the absolute absurdity of existence. It sums it up in a very funny way that you really have to be on your toes to get. Just pointing out the blatant absurdity of the whole thing. The whole thing. The universe is just like, why bother? It seems like such a waste. And the best part about that book is the message from the creator. How did it go exactly? We're terribly sorry for the inconvenience. I love it. That's existence. That's the whole point. What else? I'd probably say the Lord of the Rings. Such an archetypal fantasy story that all of their fantasies since have really been based upon the whole Dungeons and Dragons lore, and well, basically any fantasy movie that you can think of since, all based on Lord of the Rings. And I really like fantasy. I think it's a good way to get across moral stories, and it's a relevant and cinematic type of fairy tale, and I think it's effective in conveying greater meaning while still being entertaining. And here's another one. This you probably don't recognize as a book, but it is. You know how thick it is. It's a manual from a game, a PC game, came out early 90s. Well, maybe not so early 90s, maybe mid 90s. Called Homeworld, made by a Canadian developer named Relic Entertainment, and it was really the first good 3-dimensional real-time strategy game. The whole point of the game is you had an armada of spaceships of various different classes, from capital to frigate, bomber, fighter, and you had to use tactics to defeat your enemy, and space armada type of battle. Most real-time strategy games up to that point had been 2-dimensional, just like like a Risk board. Everything in 2 dimensions. Your strategy, all your tactics were 2-dimensional in nature, and this one was the first really good 3-dimensional real-time strategy game that I ever played. And when you add another dimension of movement in space, it exponentially increases the choices that are available to you when coming up with your tactics. But the most remarkable thing about this game was the in-depth story. How many pages of story is it? It's like this. Here you go. It's like a third of the manual is story. There's a whole bunch of stuff in here about how these humans, and that they're humans, apparently lost a war against an alien race, and were exiled from Earth, their home world, hence the title of the game, and got scattered. The caravan exiting on their exodus got scattered, and one of the ships of the many made it to a barely habitable planet where they eked out an existence for thousands of years. And they developed a from the factual knowledge of the real war and events regarding their exile, over thousands of years developed into religion. And there were different clans who had different views on why the gods exiled them. Obviously, they had done something horrible. Eventually, they rediscovered their original crash site and rediscovered technology that they had once had, and they rediscovered spaceflight again. One of the sects of these humans was a fundamentalist in their religion, and they thought that going into space again would incite the wrath of the gods. And there's one part in the story that really sticks in my head. They're going to blast off their mothership that they designed into orbit, and the leader of the religious fundamentalist movement broke the security barrier and went to the launch pad and kneeled and prayed on the launch pad. And everyone else is like, forget it, we're counting down, we're going up. So he got incinerated from the rocket boosters as a testament to his faith about how he wants to. He really thought he was doing the right thing and that he wanted to save the rest of humanity from the wrath of the gods. And it didn't resonate. That story didn't resonate so much with me then. This was probably about a decade ago when I first read the story, but it really does now, and it's so profound in that it conveys some of the irrationalities of of humans, that a person who would otherwise be rational can believe in something so ridiculous, like the gods are going to punish the whole race for making a spaceship. And this whole group of people actually believed it. So anyway, the story was really in depth, and it got my attention then, and it got my attention now too. That I'm actually more involved with all these YouTube atheists and stuff. So those are probably the three books that describe me the best. Do you have any phobias? What creeps you out the most? No, I don't have any phobias. I have done some a little bit of amateur spelunking in some of the caves in New Hampshire, where you actually have to like shimmy through something like this, shimmy through, and you get to a point where it's pitch black dark. You're scooting a flashlight ahead of you, and you're shimmying through, and you realize that if you get stuck, there's nothing anybody can do to come and save you. You have to save yourself. There's that moment of panic that that you might be in deep trouble, but then calm yourself down and okay, just keep going. I can do this, and eventually you get through it. So I guess that's just a pang of anxiety. It's not a phobia. But that can happen to me when I'm in high places or when I'm in closed places, and I'm always able to calm myself down and get through whatever it is that needs to be done. So I guess that would be me controlling my fear, and it wouldn't be a phobia. But things that creep me out, clowns creep me out. And I think I can blame Stephen King for that entirely, because I've never had a traumatic experience with a clown in my youth. I was never particularly afraid of them until I caught glimpses of it on TV when I was too young. Scarred for life. Now clowns just freak me out.